I went on a cruise ship when I was 15. We were going to Antarctica, and so a lot of the time was spent on the cruise ship. Me and my sister were the youngest ones there. I really wanted to fit in with the older crowd. So I decided that drinking was the way to do that. After dinner with my family, I would sneak out of the cabin. I got my first drink of the night, and
Firstly, I want to say thank you to Barbara for sharing your story.
It wasn't like a drunk feeling.
I know that it can be so scary to share those types of things in general, but definitely to a camera and having your story artistically depicted was probably very difficult. And so thank you for sharing that with us. I truly appreciate it. I really liked how the film was depicted, how it was executed. Having Barbara sitting just kind of against like a black backdrop, very simple, straightforward, honest, raw. And then having the dancers, I think really was kind of the perfect addition to this, to add in a visual, artistic, emotional, creative layer, and being able to see it play out, but in a non-graphic type of, like, voyeuristic type of way. It really, really hit home.
I really appreciated the intimate confessional style, I guess you would call it. But it felt like she was really just unloading onto a friend. And I felt, honored to be invited into that. And having it intertwined with the dance sequences was really effective in exploring the story in a less graphic way, but in more of an emotionally charged way that added beauty to the pain and the suffering. The image of the box was also really striking in terms of relation to her packing away these emotions and this memory, like stuff you put in your attic, and her kind of taking it out, brushing off the dust, and letting it finally see the light.
I thought this was so powerful. I loved the kind of contrast between her sitting and telling her story, especially in the beginning, and she's like, there's like kind of like a black backdrop, and she's wearing like a black shirt. Like, it's very intense and serious is the kind of tone that I took away from that. And then when you pair that with the dancing that they had going on, so powerful. And I loved the choices that they made with that. And it really took like her story, which is already so impactful, and it just brought it to another place. And then to have like the actual like cutout, or the actual like box that was laying there in the different parts as she's going through and telling her story, I thought was really like visually something that you could see that was really like intriguing, and like powerful is the only word I can kind of come up with, but it really got to you. It was like visually something that I was like, that's something I'm gonna remember. Like, that's something that's gonna stick with me.
Brave and inspiring piece. It's honest in what I could only imagine is the most brutal of ways. The use of dance in this piece is quite distinct to help articulate the emotional and traumatic feelings that are associated with recollecting sexual trauma such as this. And the filmmaker here is able to articulate her story both verbally and through physicality, through this dancer who seems to be around the age that she likely was when this trauma occurred to her. We see the continuous visual of a box reinforced throughout. We see her in the box at points, But really what the film is about, what it seems to be about, is her being able to finally get out of that box.
For starters, much respect for being able to share this story, and beyond that, not only share the story in a meaningful and delicate way, but also to go on and do what this woman has done and turn things around and become a coach and help others get through it. I think it's absolutely the most admirable way one can get through this. Unfortunately, I'm sure some people just try to forget about it and brush it under the rug, and if that works for them, that's great. But when somebody can make something so powerful and so moving and share it with the world, I think it helps all of us, and hopefully can help make it more of a less common thing. It's unfortunate, of course, that people are still assaulted the way they are, but I think the more attention we draw to it, the less likely, hopefully, these things are to keep happening. So for that reason, I'm glad this one exists. And of course, it's unfortunate it has to, but definitely have a look.
I'm really inspired by how she challenges herself to just use it for the greater good. And I'm glad that she does own her sexuality now, because after that, I can only imagine how long that takes and the journey for that. And then the scene at the end where she gets to leave the box, that scene is actually everything. I can't say much more than that. It's just very empowering.
What a inspirational and powerful film. Very honest and raw and grounded, very transparent, very simple.
It's brutal, it's very raw, it's very real, it's a true story being told by the person who experienced it, and it's a very honest short, and I really liked how it incorporated the artists. I loved how the dancing. It was really beautiful, and I feel like with a lot of dance films, you don't typically get to have a very objective narrative that's going along with it. I feel like a lot of the times it's up for interpretation, and this was very clear, and I loved using dance to express that, and cutting back and forth between the two. It was really strong. I feel like this was a very strong piece.